This is the sixth part of our Noble Gold's National Debt Series. Now that we know how we've accumulated debt, let's find out who's responsible for borrowing money. The United States Department of the Treasury is responsible for their federal finances. It comes up with the government's budget and how it will raise money to pay for those expenses. Congress created it in 1789. It has two divisions, departmental offices and operating bureaus. The departments are mainly in charge of policymaking and managing the Treasury. The party happens on the other side, the operating bureaus. It has the Internal Revenue Service, or the IRS. And we all know what that department does. Bureau of Engraving and Printing, or BEP, in charge of printing and minting all the US money, and the Office of Comptroller of the Currency, responsible for safeguarding the federal banking system. Although it's the Treasury Department that's responsible for creating the budget, federal legislation authorizes spending levels. If the government spends more money than it receives, that's when we run into a deficit. So what does it do? It borrows money from the public or other government agencies. It wasn't always like this though. Up until World War I, Congress had to approve each instance the government wanted to borrow money. Congress decided on the number of the securities that could be issued, their maturity date, and the interest they would be paid on them. The Second Liberty Bond Act of 1917 granted the US Treasury borrowing authority for as long as it stays within the ceiling that Congress sets. The Treasury was also given the discretion to decide maturity dates, interest rate levels, and the type of instruments that would be offered. When the debt ceiling is reached, the Treasury Department must find other ways to pay expenses. However, the debt ceiling has been raised several times, the latest of which was last year when Congress approved a $2.5 trillion debt limit increase. We're nearing the end. In the next video, let's take a closer look at the different ways treasuries, the government issues, and understand why it's popular as a conservative investment.